You know, I slept for an hour last night. I slept from like 2:30 to 3:30. Something I do. Don't feel like sleeping. I hate sleeping. Anyway, let's get to the topic at hand today in the National Football League Week 7 picks. It's what we do here. We are the greatest sports handicapper that's ever lived. And, gonna have some interesting picks this week, I surmise. First game. Arizona's getting 6 points at home against the Seattle Seahawks. We all know Seattle Seahawks are not a road team. We know that for a fact. Arizona under Bruce Arians and Carson Palmer will put up major points on that defense. I know that defense is good, but I'm looking for the Cardinals to score 31 points. And I'm looking for the Seahawks to struggle offensively. 31-14, they're going to get embarrassed. Now, I know a lot of people are saying I'm not a believer in the Seahawks. I'm really not a believer in Russell Wilson. I know he had a good year last year, but I don't think he'll sustain it throughout his NFL career. I think he's better than Robert Griffin III, but I don't think he's as good as advertised. Therefore, I'm saying the Arizona Cardinals will win this game 31-14 at home. So take the 6 points at home and win the game. Next game, New York Jets at home, getting 4 against New England Patriots. Now, I don't know if Gronkowski's playing. It really doesn't matter at this juncture. We've seen the New York Jets last week after a great performance against Atlanta Falcons. Geno Smith reverted back to his old ways. Couldn't lead his team against Jared Levin at home for a victory. I like the New England Patriots to win this game, even though they were dead in the water last week outside of a miraculous comeback by Tom Brady. I like the Patriots to win this game at New York, somewhere in the lines of 28-17. I think it's a good score, and I think it's a comfortable score. Jacksonville at home, getting 7.5 against San Diego. Well, I got to be honest with Jacksonville. They covered the point spread last week against Denver. That being said, San Diego coming off a big win last week against the Indianapolis Colts. They held Trent Richardson in check to 40 yards and 10 carries. But then again, who doesn't hold Trent Richardson in check? Outside of an SEC cupcake schedule opponent. I like the Chargers to win this game, 31-7. Houston getting 6.5 at Kansas City. You know, I'm not a believer in Kansas City, but I'm also not a believer in Matthew Schaub and the Houston Texans. I do like Kansas City this game to cover with the 6.5 point spread, somewhere along the lines of 24-10. I just don't think Houston has any offense, and I think Matt Schaub sucks. Game of the week, in my opinion, Cincinnati getting 3 points on the road at Detroit. I'm telling you right now, Cincinnati, everyone talked about them being great, going to the Super Bowl, this and that. There's no fucking way. That defense is much maligned and much overrated. It's the most overrated defense in football. I think Detroit hangs about 40 points on that defense, and I think they hold the Cincinnati Bengals and Andy Dalton on the road. I think they hold them to somewhere like 13 points, 40-13 Lions. I see the Detroit. Matthew Stafford's severely underrated. He's a great quarterback. I'd take him in Cleveland. Matthew Stafford's a beast. He's going to hang 40 on that overrated Bengals defense. I mean, Thad Lewis passed 3 touchdowns against him last week. I let him fucking comeback, put him in overtime. So I like Detroit. Cincinnati's getting 3 with Detroit to cover that. Buffalo getting 8 at Miami. I don't know if Thad Lewis is playing. I don't think it really matters at this juncture at Miami. I think Thad Lewis had a great game last week against an overrated Bengals defense. I think the Dolphins defense is much better. I like the Dolphins and Tannehill to come in there, or at home, to win this game 30-14. I know people are going to say my scores are very similar, but it's football. So I like the Dolphins to win that game and cover the point spread. Chicago pick'em game at RFK, or whatever the fuck that stadium's called. Now, we have Jay Cutler, who I'm not sold on. But I'm sure a hell of a lot more sold on Jason Cutler than I am Robert Griffin III. Now, it's at home, and everyone knows that Robert Griffin III likes to show off. I know people think he's all quiet, this and that, but he likes to show off. He's on the Tim table. I like the Chicago Bears going in and manhandle the fucking Redskins. Somewhere like 42-17. Chicago's going to do that. Jason Cutler's got a big game. Jay Cutler, so whatever. So I like the Bears that game. Dallas getting 3 points at Philadelphia in Chipper Kelly's offense. You know, I like the Dallas Cowboys this week, somewhere along the lines of 34-21. I don't care if Nick Foles is playing with Michael Vick. Nick Foles obviously being a better choice. I just don't believe the Eagles' defense can stop the Cowboys. And I, quite frankly, don't believe the Eagles are as good as their 3-3 record indicates. I think the Eagles suck, quite frankly. I think they're terrible. I think they're overrated, and I think they're going to be finishing the season around 4-12. The Eagles suck. But I like the Cowboys in that game. 34-13 or whatever the fuck score was. I just predicted 34-20, but whatever. St. Louis getting 6 at Carolina. Here's the thing. St. Louis got a big victory last week against a much overrated Texans team. I don't know how you're giving them 6 points, because I think they're going to go into Carolina. I think they're going to win the game outright. I like St. Louis to win that game outright. I mean, look, I'm not sold on Carolina. I've never been sold on Carolina, especially since Shudinski left. I don't know what the record is, but I'm not sold on them. So I like the St. Louis Rams to go in there and win this game outright. Probably along the lines of 27-17. Tampa Bay getting 7 points at Atlanta. Why is anyone getting 7 points at Atlanta? Atlanta's 1-4. I'm tired of hearing about Matty Ice. Matty Ice is not what you do at the end of the game when there's fucking prevent defense in. No one gives a fuck. It's what you do from fucking quarter 1 to quarter 4 with 4 minutes left. You can't get it done. Therefore, I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know Scott, what's his name? Mike Glennon, rookie quarterback. Greg Schiano, they're going to get the first win on the road. They're going to win the game outright. They will win the game outright, which means they will definitely cover with the 7-point spread. So, they'll definitely get 7 points. They win outright. Tennessee getting 4 and San Francisco at home. Tennessee's getting 4 points at home. Now, I only surmise they wouldn't be getting 4 points at home if they had Jake Locker playing. They have Fitzpatrick playing. San Francisco and Colin Kaepernick really hasn't proved me nothing this year, especially Colin Kaepernick. I like Tennessee to actually win that game outright, 24-21. So you're getting 4 points. You're going to be covered, obviously. I like Tennessee in that game. Interesting game right here. Cleveland getting 10 points at Green Bay. We all know how Cleveland is. Cleveland's got a great defense, but they're on the field the fucking 98% of the game. Brandon Whedon sucks at home. He can't play at home. He's got that monkey in his back because he's too goddamn sensitive and he's too goddamn... He has no confidence at home. He's rattled. On the road, Brandon Whedon plays much better. I can almost guarantee you, I know the Browns will definitely cover the 10-point spread, but here's the kicker. I think the Browns are going to beat the Packers. I really believe this. Brandon Whedon's going to have a lights-out game, and people are going to be like, oh my God, I'm telling you now, this is how it is. I know the kid sucks. I know he's garbage, but he plays better on the road. Something about he ain't got the pressure on him. He's not a tough quarterback mentally. Then you just cut him, cut ties with him, but I think he's going to have a big game. I like the Browns with a 10-point. I like the Browns winning the game outright, somewhere like 37-27. That's what I like. I think the Browns offense and Josh Gordon's going to pick it up this week. Even though last week, 17 points, whatever. I don't even want to talk about that. Baltimore getting 2 at Pittsburgh. As far as I'm concerned, the Ravens are going to fucking destroy Pittsburgh. You're looking at the lines of 30-14 here. The Steelers are done. Don't let that little fucking win against the fucking rookie quarterback fool you. Steelers are done. I like Baltimore this game. I like a big 30-14. Joe Flacco's going to get on track against Jericho 11. I think any quarterback that wants to look good goes against Pittsburgh. They will look good because the Jericho 11 is old as dirt and they can't cover no one and they certainly can't tackle anyone anymore. You know what? You guys should have kept James Harrison because he's about useless in Cincinnati. He'd be useless in your team too. By the way, the team's fortunes are really fucking going sour. They signed a guy or traded for a guy last week. Levi Browning's out for the season already. Indianapolis, here's the game of the week right here. This is the game of the week. At Indianapolis, they're getting 6.5 points against Denver, right? Manning versus Locke. You know, Jim Irsay, who I think's a fucking joke, who traded away a #1 draft pick for a backup running back in Trent Richardson. Here's the kicker. I would have done the same thing talking about drafting Luck over Manning. I'm going to tell you why. Luck is your future. Manning might be able to give you 3 or 4 good years. Luck would have been sitting on the bench for 3 or 4 good years, wasting his time. I think Luck, when it's all said and done, will have more titles than Peyton Manning. I think the Indianapolis Colts win this game in a shootout, a passing shootout. Obviously, Trent Richardson's not going to give you nothing but maybe 45 yards on 19 carries. I think they win this game somewhere along the lines of 54-45. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be the game of the week, an offensive outburst. Jim Irsay had some comments that Peyton Manning's not going to like, but it doesn't matter. He speaks the truth. I agree with everything he said. So I like the Colts. I mean, they're getting 6.5. I like the Colts big in this game, 54-45. Minnesota getting 3.5. The Josh Freeman era has begun in Minnesota, getting 3.5 against the New York Giants at New York Giants. Well, I got news for you. The New York Giants are 0 whatever the fuck they are. They're about to be 0 whatever the fuck they're going to be because the Minnesota Vikings, with the 3.5 points, it don't matter. They will win this game. Josh Freeman will pass for 375 yards in his debut against the New York Giants. What can we call them? The Flintstone 7 or the Flintstone 11? Because they're old as fuck too. We'll call them the Flintstone 11. So Josh Freeman will have a big game and the Minnesota Vikings will win this game 33-23. 33-24. We all know NFL football is the greatest sport in the world. I'm sorry. It's just, I mean, I do the English Premier because I'm great at it. But the NFL football is the greatest. And my picks this year, I've had a 99%. I mean, every week I'm going fucking 99%. You can't argue, you can't refute irrefutable. That's factual evidence. So those are your NFL picks this weekend. What is this? I'm looking at this. Hold on. I'm looking at spreads from next week. Is that what it is? Spreads from next week? Cleveland's getting next week. Cleveland. As of now, Cleveland's getting 8 points against the Chiefs. It's funny. I see a big line here saying New Orleans giving 13.5. Whatever. We'll get into that next week. But anyway, that's the picks. And I'm sure you'll win some money with them.